Welcome back to this Django tutorial series, and in this session we are going to be looking at how to work with file upload, like when you want the user to upload file. That is what we are going to be looking at in this section. Alright, so let's go to our code. We are still going to be using our same source code, just like our usual practice. Let us start the virtual environment. So now that our virtual environment is running, so what we now need to do is, of course, before we start our application, we should now go to the contact us form, just like we want the user to submit their query. And at the point of the user submitting their query, they might have some screenshot to show us. So let us just come inside this forms.py and I will wrap it. And we are going to be saying that the screenshots, let's define a field called screenshots. So the screenshot, let's say it's forms, and the feed type that I want to define for the screenshot is file feed. So because I want the user to be able to upload file, so I will then say the label is, let me label it as screenshots. And since the user might have a screenshot to submit and sometimes they might not have used screenshot to submit, so let me just set the required to false. So if I save this now and let me now start the application by saying py manage and I run the server. If I run to the contacts us file URL, now if you scroll down you see that I have a screenshot because I'm looping through all the forms entry. So I have a screenshot and it is asking me to choose file. So if I choose file, I can then go to my desktop and select the file that I want to choose. Of course, you can see it is attached. So if I go ahead to submit, of course it will not be submitted because I am yet to add this file feed to the model. So if I come back here, to my forms, then I will then go to my models where I want to be able to upload the file to my application server. So what I need to do, of course, you will not save image inside your application. It will make you should not save image into your database because it will make your database too heavy. It should only contain text. So all I just need to do is just come in here and say inside the models.py, I'll say screenshot is equals to the models, and I'm going to be defining it as a file feed. We'll be defining it as a file feed. So what you need to see is upload to, where do you want the file to be uploaded to. So let me say I am uploading it to a folder called screenshots and I put it blank. Of course, I might at some point not be getting a value, which means my required is false, so I can set the blank to true. So now that I've set that, you should now pay attention to something inside the template that we are using to render it, which is this contact form. Of course, you can see that we are looping through our element. You should set something in here if you know that you are going to be getting a file from the user. You should set the encrypt type. To this will help you to get, anytime you are dealing with file, you set this attribute in your form. So this should be multi-parts. This is part of HTML and you set it to form data. So this will allow you to be able to take form from the user. You should pay attention to that. So now that we have defined that, now if you look at these our models, you see that I am uploading the file to screenshots, But something you should pay attention to is the fact that anytime I'm uploading my file, I should set the media URL at that means the folder that I want the file to be uploaded to anytime the user upload a file. So, and to do that, you should come to your major projects. In our case, our major project is our major project is this coding school. So you come to the settings, and what you need to do there is you need to define, you can come to the last line so and define a property called media root. Pay attention to that media root. So now the media root should take the base URL. If you look in here, you see that we have a base URL which is setting the URL of our application of our project. So you should set this base, you should set the media root. Media root means that the folder that any file that the user upload will be saved, that the folder that will take the file that the user upload. So you should save the media root to be the base URL and the base URL slash the name of the folder. Let me just call it media. So now you need to of course we have this base directory which is our project itself. So you need to now define this folder yourself, and that means you should come to your folder structure of your project and then define a folder called media, which must be the same with this. So anytime the user upload a file and our project want to save that file, then it will look to our base URL or base directory, and inside the base directory it will look for this name for this folder, and you can see that inside the model we are saving it inside the media and then saving it inside another folder called screenshot, so that we know that okay, this is coming from the screenshot and this is coming from, like, maybe you are uploading another file, so you should be able to differentiate it. Now that we have, of course, you should note that anytime you update your model, you should run your migration again. So once we run our migration, then our work will now shift to these views where we are going to be taking the file that the user uploaded. So now that we have that, let's just save and save. After saving, since we have updated our model, if we should make migration and update our migration. So we quit the application for now. So by saying, we then run the migration by saying python manage.py and we make migration. Okay, make migrations. So now that we have make our migration, the next thing is now to migrate. We migrate. So now that we have saved our migration, we can then go ahead into the views so that we can see anytime the user upload a file, we want to save it into this particular folder that we created. So, and that will be done inside this view, because that is the function that is processing the data that the user upload is inside this particular views.py. So now that we are here, so what we just need to do is, don't forget that the form feed is not required. Sorry, the file feed is not required. So you need to check if the user upload a file, then you should save it inside the folder. So what to do that? So after you have checked if the form is valid, of course the file is not compulsory or is not required. So you should come in here and check. You can come under this and say if the request dot files, don't forget that it's a file. So inside the file we want to check for the name of the form feed, which is screenshots. So we want to check if there's a file called screenshot. Of course, it's a dictionary. Dictionary is a key value pair. So we want to check if there's a file called screenshots, and if there's something like that, we are still going to be saving our form. So what you just need to do is just copy this, because everything they're all required. So you should copy that, and the only thing that will just be different is that now we're going to be adding a new, and that will be our screenshot inside the contact us. So we're going to be saving that as request.files, and take notes the name of the feed screenshots, the name of the feed, which is screenshot. So now that we have that same process, we just go ahead and then say contact. Of course, since we have defined the model, you should know that we are saving it to our file. So you should go ahead to save. Otherwise, if you don't have a screenshot, of course, it will then come in here and save this. So if we have a file, we should not come again and save the contact us form again. So what you just need to do is just after saving it, just return to the success page for the user to see that okay, my entry has been successfully saved to the database. So having done that, let us now save, and let's see our form in action. So now let us run our server. Okay, Python manage.py run server. Don't forget your virtual environment must be on. So now that we have that, let us try and refresh. Of course, I'm going to be saving time again by using my fake filler, which is the best tool for front-end develop, very user-friendly in terms of developing your application in the front-end side. So let me set this to 600. Okay, I have my comment. I choose my screenshots now, and I go with a laptop. Now, if I click submit, now you can see that my query has been submitted. Of course, I'm setting all the fields as required because we have looked at error message or dealing with errors previously in the video. So if I come into my folder, of course, you know that I uploaded the file. If I come into the media, you see that I now have a folder called screenshots inside the media. And the reason why I have that is because I said the media should be uploaded into screenshots. So you should be uploading your screenshot. So if you open your screenshot, you see that you have your image uploaded successfully. So that is how to deal with file in in Django. So now that we have done that, of course you can try again with another image, you can try again with another file, and so on and so forth. So now that we have been able to upload our file, of course you notice that we named the form feed to be screenshot, meaning that we are only possibly expecting only image. So but if you want to do that, all you just need to do is just let me duplicate this line and then comment this for your consumption. So of course you can change the form feed to image, which only take image, but there's a peculiarity here. Just pay attention. Of course, if you're only expecting only image, you can just set it to be image. And then of course, before we do that, let me just show you the difference so that you see the difference. Okay, if I save now, come to my, let me go back to the contact us form. Let me go to the inspect element, inspect. So you can see for the file, I have input type of file, and you can just pay attention to the fact that I have type of file, name to be screenshot, and ID to be ID screenshot. So just pay attention now when we make our change. So I comment this out for your consumption, and I uncomment this to be image feed. So don't forget that anytime you, of course, I need to come and change this also to take form feed. And once I have updated the model, I should also go ahead to run the migration again. Now, even before running the migration, you can see that I have error that is saying cannot use image feed because payload is not installed. So that means I need to install payload. So what I need to do is just copy this command. Of course, you should pay attention to the fact that if you are using image feed, which only accepts image, when you are working with file that has to do with uploading only image, then you should know that you need to install pillow. So I should then come here and then install that. So it is installing already. So having installed that, what I then need to do is then come and run my application again. Of course, I need to run the migration. So let me see if changes have been made to the migration because of the changes that I made to the model. Run migrations. Once you, of course, you can see that there's a changes. Anytime you change your model, always remember to run the migration. So I'll then migrate. I believe you are used to this now. So we have applied the migration. So now that we have that, now let us now run our application. Manage.py run server. You see difference now between when we use file feed and image feed. So we have run our application. Let us now go ahead and refresh it. Of course, I'll refresh it from the browser, and if you click on the inspect element, click on the file, you can see that it only accepts what image. That means it accepts image, png, jpg, and so on and so forth. So before, you can see that before it does not have any accept image or something like that, but now it is saying that the only acceptable file format is image. So that is the difference between file feed and image. So if we try to upload a file, of course you can see that even in here before I have some other files that are not image, but now it's only showing image because it only accepts image files. It only accepts image file. So that is the difference between file feed and image feed. So now that we have seen that in action, let us now see how to retrieve our image. So let's see at the point when the user submit the form, let's say we want them to be able to see the image. Of course, if I navigate to this message sent, I want to just make the user, of course the application might be different from you, from what you are building, but let's just see. Once you know how to render the image, then anywhere you're using it, you just work with it exactly the same way we are doing now. So let's say I want the user to see the image that they upload in here. All I just need to do is just come into the, of course, if you want to render an image, which is also another example of static file, you must serve your static file folder. We set our media roots to be media. We should also try and make the static files available for the user to see. And in order to do that, we need to now we need to make the static files available. Now to make the static files available, you need to set the media URL. To set the media URL, and of course which URL do you want the user to be able to see for them to be able to get the static files, in this your case the image. So let's see, I want the user to be able to navigate through the uploaded media. This has nothing to do with the folder that you upload the file to or the image to. All you just need to do is just, okay, anytime the user navigate to the media URL, then pick up the media and display it to the user to see. And after setting that, you need to now serve the static file. And to start the static file, you should come to the URLs that is inside the project. You should come to the URLs that is inside the project, and in here what you just need to do is you should now set, please pay attention to this, it's very important, static set static to settings. This, what we are doing here, we are trying to serve the static file. So media url which is what you have set in here, media url, and after setting the media urls, serve it to document root. I'm going to be setting that to settings dot media media oof, media roots media roots. Of course, you should, since you are using static here, you should import static from Django dot dot urls dot static imports static. Also, you can see that I'm using settings, so I should also import that from Django. So from Django dot conf import settings. So see that all our errors are gone now. So now that we have served our static file, what we now need to do is we should come inside these contactors. Of course, we should come to the views and then pass the uploaded image into the template. So if you come to your views, what you need to do is, okay, I want to get the queries that the user have uploaded, their form, their entries. So let me just get all the queries. So from the queries, I will now display the image to the user to see. So I just need to get the model, in this case the contactors, which is coming from the models, so get the model dot object. Don't forget to get all the entries in the database, the model dot object dot all model dot object. So now that we have that, I'll just pass that to the template by saying the queries. Of course, I need to put that in an inverted comma. So queries, then I'll set it to queries. So that means I have access to these queries inside the template file. So I'll come inside the template file, which is the sources page. So what I would then do is that, okay, let me just, of course, you know that it's will definitely be an array of objects. So what I just need to do is, okay, let me just display the images as an unordered list, so that in case the user have uploaded more than one image, I want to just loop through and display everything, so that we see how to serve or display our image in action. So what I need to do is url so I will then loop for query in query that I'm passing, because it's an array of objects. So of course, don't forget, you should remember to end your for. And the next thing I will do now is I will now ask that, okay, don't forget that the image is not required. So I need to check if the user uploaded an image for that particular entry, for that particular form feed. So if the user upload an image, I should check if query dot screenshot. So if it has value, so I should also end the if statement. So I'll then say if it has value, then go with the li, the list item. the list item. So inside the list item, I want to display my image. So my image will take a source of course, since you are displaying the value, you use a double curly braces. So the query object we then have the value of screenshots. Since it is, of course, let me just show you that in action. Let's come back to our slide and check for the URL to check our database. You realize that instead of the model to upload our instead of the model to upload our yes instead of the model to upload, you can see screenshot. Instead of it to upload the image, it is uploading the URL where the image was saved. So I will then come in here and say the screenshot dot URL. So if I save now, media URL must end with slash. So let's come back to our settings, and it's telling us that the media URL must end with slash. So if I save now, of course, anytime you do something at the global level, it's always advisable to quit and restart your application to avoid issue. Of course, it might not cause issue, but just for to be on a safer side, you can just do it to restart. So if I refresh now, you can see now. Okay, yeah, it's displaying, but because it's a very big, I'll just reduce the zoom. Of course, because the image does not have any size, we just bring the big size of the image and it's displayed. But what at least we're able to achieve our mission of rendering our image on the HT or on the Django page. Now you can see on the Django template, you can see that we have our image. Now, of course, in a proper project or proper application, you definitely have some CSS for your project or for your application too. But for now, we are seeing how it works and how to save image or save file, and then in return retrieve the file using the media URL in combination with media root, and also how to render the static file.